Yo, welcome back to Just Kicking It, episode 12. My name is Soy. I'm here with my buddy
Polo show.
And we have a very special guest today, local rapper and MC to the city of YYC. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Yo, my name is Estedon, aspiring hip-hop artist and entrepreneur in Calgary, Alberta. And just representing. Love to come and kick with you guys.
Word. So let's get into the show. We're going to start with global news. And unfortunately, we're starting with something pretty sad. Actor Chadwick Boseman passed away at 43 from colon cancer. Very young, super talented guy. Obviously, most people probably know him from Black Panther, but he's been in a lot of really great movies. So yeah, let's just talk about that a bit. Like, does this shock you guys? Like, when you heard, like, what was your first reaction?
Man. This is a big deal because I just know, like, I feel like not just for the Black community, but for the world, like that Black Panther movie, and I know he did more than that, but that's definitely like, that's like a greatness moment, like that's, I don't know how to describe it, man. I don't think in the history of having Black superheroes, they've never had like a blockbuster film, where it's revolved around so much. I feel like for someone who's actually from Africa and like, I'm a bit disconnected from my culture being in the society here, for me to see that film where they put like the Black man on a pedestal, there was an African king, not just a Black king, an African king, where, there was, it seemed like the Wakanda, that land, everything, he was this like, I don't know how to describe it, it was just greater. We'd never seen that representation, of an African person on screen, and I just remember when the movie was released here, I remember seeing like a bunch of people wearing like, Nigerian traditional clothes to go see it in the theater. That was a thing in the States as well. Everyone was like wearing like, it just made people like so proud of the motherland, even people that weren't from there, but that's what it's about, So what he did, what that movie meant, for the culture and what it did as far as, the barriers it broke, because now it's not going to be unfamiliar to like, I think prior to that, I think we had like Hancock, Will Smith playing a drunk superhero, like that's literally what we had for Black superheroes on TV, on the movie screen, and then now we have that, so he has now set the standard, for what it can look like on screen. So yeah, that movie was a big deal. He set a huge legacy with that. And I don't just speak for the Black community, because I know that when that movie came out, I saw white kids wearing Black Panther costumes, but there's kids that would say that, the Black Panther is their favorite Avenger, so it really did just put, that minority group on a pedestal, and so it's crazy, man. It's crazy. His life means so much more. His life meant so much more than that movie, of course. And it's crazy that, I don't want to just say we're giving him this praise in death, because had you asked me this a week ago, that movie was powerful,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So yeah, this only like solidifies his legend. It's fucked up that he had to go this way. But what this tells us is that I think they were even shooting a second Black Panther movie. While he was struggling with this colon cancer, he was shooting those movies, those Avenger movies and all this, on screen, he was perfectly healthy to us, So this just shows us like the fighter this man was, on screen and off screen. So yeah.
For sure.
What do you think, Estedon? What was your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, of course it's tragic. The biggest feature that I know him from feature film is from Black Panther. But I'm not going to say I had like a super deep connection with Chadwick Boseman. You know what I mean? It was dope to, just to see the movie. But the thing is, even when I watched Black Panther, I was like not even in my right mind. You know what I mean? So it's like I didn't have that super deep connection with Chadwick when he passed away. But of course, just seeing all the movies that he was featured in and just knowing like everything that he was a part of, it's like you just, you know, you have to respect the legacy. You know what I mean?
Word. Yeah. It's trash, man. It's stupid. It's like it's literally, I was on my way home from work, and then the guy, my foreman, he's like, yo, Black Panther just died. And he's like, Wakanda forever. I'm like, damn, son, like, that's all you got? But it was like, I don't know. It's super strange, you know? I don't think a lot of people knew that he was sick like that. I definitely didn't know.
I didn't. Like, I don't think, like I said, it was secret. So, like, only his immediate family would have known. You know, I don't even think the actors that were acting with him on set knew, you know?
Yeah.
They're shocked too. You know, so.
Man. Yeah. I remember, I do like, it's just dope that he has that movie, Black Panther, though, because it is a really, like, besides being a really good superhero movie, it's just like a really great movie. The director, what's the director's name again? Damn. He did like Creed and stuff as well. He's super, super talented. But when I was a kid, I remember watching the Black Panther like animated movie. And so I always like had a cool affiliation with him. So when the movie came out, I was like, oh, this is about to be fire. And it was. And it's a super big shame because he was not only like I mean, that's all you really know him from, but he was like, he's just someone that, me and my dad watched movies with him in, and kind of someone that I felt like was going to be like a really, really big, like staple in like acting. So it's a huge shame, but rest in peace. Yeah, obviously his legacy is going to be, it's eternal now. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the director of Black Panther is Ryan Coogler.
He's so dope, man. He's such a good director.
What movies has he directed?
He's done Creed. Let me look it up. He did Fruitvale Station. Ryan Coogler.
Those are both with Michael B. Jordan, right?
Yeah. He's doing the new Space Jam.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It seems like all the movies that he's done so far have just been like really great.
I'm so sleep on the movie game. I gotta get my knowledge up.
Dude, you should watch Fruitvale Station. You will cry though. I'm just telling you now. Yeah. It's inevitable. But I cry easily, so maybe that's just me.
For sure. That's the one about the kid who got shot at the station, right?
Yeah.
About like a couple years ago by a police.
Yeah. It's really good. All right. So rest in peace. The next topic we have is Big Sean just dropped a song with Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace. And we got to hear Nipsey rapping with his signature flow over Hit Boy production. A huge Big Sean fan. I'm interested to see what you guys have to think of the song. He also dropped a snippet of another one he's doing with Wayne, which I thought actually liked a little more. But what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was dope. It was kind of like the, stream of consciousness thought, like a kind of rap record. I felt it was like we've not heard from Big Sean in a minute, so it gave us like, all right, there's bars on this type of record. But like I was saying, I was like, I don't know, this is not the single I was expecting. We've not heard from you in a minute. But yeah, like you just said, that Dawn Life record, which he only had a snippet of, we didn't even hear like Wayne's verse, but that was sounding like hard. That was sounding like, oh shit, this should have been a single. But I feel like when you're at this level of your career, like when I think of like Big Sean knows like, even without promotion, he's gonna sell 100,000. You know what I mean? Like he has that kind of base. So what I'm saying is, it's not about like the beginning of his career when he was about to release his first album. It was more about, all right, we got to get a Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay out first. You know what I mean? Like now it's kind of like I see he's more like it's whatever I want, what I feel and what I want to say. I feel like this project that's coming is gonna have a lot of like personal content, right? Because it's been a minute since we've heard from Big Sean. So he's gonna tell us about his life, and that's kind of like what I got on this track. He was kind of talking about like how like he talked to Kendrick after Nip passed, and there wasn't any beef there, you know. So it's just kind of like opening us up to us, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting from the project. And yeah, I ran that track back a couple times. It's definitely a vibe. It's refreshing to hear Nipsey on the jump. And yeah, man, Hit Boy has been fucking killing it lately.
Dude.
It's like what the fuck? He recently produced Conway's latest single, and he's gonna drop a whole project with Benny, right?
Yeah, dude.
So, and he just did like Nas's album, you know, and here we see him again with Big Sean. So he's obviously gonna be featured, like do a lot of the beats on Big Sean's project. So, you know, we're about to see like Hit Boy take over the next half of this year, you know, or the end of this year is what it's looking like. It's like, all right, it's time for me to release all my shit, you know. So, but yeah, got me excited, man. I like the verses. I like his flows, you know. Big Sean's always slick with the words.
Word. Yo, honestly, I thought the track was dope. As soon as I hear Nipsey, I'm like, open up that verse. I was like, man, this is vintage Nipsey. You know what I mean? And it makes me think like, you know, the trajectory that he was on right before he passed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if he can make records like that coming out, I'm just like, bro, this guy was on the next, you know, the next guy to be on top. You know what I mean? At least that's what I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So like, oh man, it was so dope. Big Sean's verse, it was dope. It went for a while. It was like a 2-3 minute verse. I can't remember, but regardless, bro, it was a dope song. I fuck with it, man.
Yeah. I still don't believe Big Sean when he says they didn't have any beef with Kendrick. I'm sorry. I was so dead set on thinking they were beefing that now it's ingrained in my mind, and I'm like,
they were beefing though. Like they were like after Control, like, you know, things like there was friction between them, you know, but that's Big Sean's fault.
yeah. Like anytime he brought up Kendrick's name, he's like, you could see him get irritated. I'm like, it's crazy, but nah, I'm super pumped for this project. It is bittersweet hearing Nipsey. Unfortunately, I did just like get tuned into him when like Victory Lap came out. Like it was like a few months beforehand, and then you listen to his whole discography. You're like, damn, like it's like all good, and it's a real shame. But Big Sean is known to come with like some heat. I'm very excited for the album. If this is like, obviously this is an indication of what it is, and like you said, Show, it's like it's going to be more like introspective, which is my favorite type of rapping. So I'm pretty excited to hear the project. I need to hear that Wayne verse though. I already know Wayne's going to destroy that.
Facts, big facts.
Yo, Wayne just put out No Ceilings too, right?
Yeah,
dude, I still need to download that. What the fuck?
Dude was like, dude reached out to me and was like, yo, why Wayne going so far back, Will? Like, why is he rapping on all these old ass beats? I'm like, yo, that's a mixtape that came out in like what, 08? Like you just re-released.
Yo.
But you're like, yo, I just been sleeping on the catalog.
Absolutely. And Wayne is somebody that continuously gets brought up when I meet with like a lot of artists. They're like, bro, Wayne is the guy that influenced me. He's the guy that like
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. So I'm like, I know like the Carter 3 and then like singles here and there because of course he was on the radio all the time. How can you ignore it?
Yeah.
But I definitely got to like do my research with Wayne. You know what I mean?
So were you listening to that like No Ceilings? Or you're listening to it thinking this shit just came out 2020, so you're like, all right, this production's old as fuck. But were you like, all right, this rapping though?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Were you like impressed with the rapping though?
Bro, that's what I was thinking. It was just like, damn, like Wayne really took us back, like wow, you know, for real. Yeah. So I was like, oh no, this is a mixtape from like 08. And it's funny because I hit you up before I knew that. So anyway, it's all good.
But I'm asking though, like, I know you thought it was like older production, but were you impressed with the lyricism at least, like with the rapping? Were you like, oh,
bro? I was like, okay, Wayne is back. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I'm not even gonna. I was like, yo, Wayne is back. You know what I mean? For real. And the production actually, like, I know it's a mixtape from 08 or I think it's 2010 or 08, but. The production still sounds like modern enough that I was like, okay, maybe he can get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they obviously remastered it for platforms.
Exactly.
But yeah, what that mixtape was like all the hot songs at the time. So I think Death of Autotune was on there by Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. You know, like a lot of like any hot rap single, like Lil Wayne just hopped on all those beats, and then put out that tape, right? So I can imagine it took him like a lifetime to fucking clear those samples. This was actual people's songs. Like, but yeah, here it is. I definitely checked it out the night it dropped. I was like, fuck, this is job. But that's funny to think. Yeah, you hit me up that night. You're like, hey, like, yo, he really took us back. Like,
yeah, for real.
That's super funny, man.
Yeah. But yeah. What do you think about like artists that hop on like popular songs at the time and make remixes and stuff? Do you guys like that, or you?
I think it's a wave, but I think you can get known for that, right? Like I think Tory Lanez was kind of the guy that was doing that like early in his career. And then he kind of broke away. He's not doing that anymore, right? I think now he's his own, but he did that to kind of be like the thing he would stand on to get to this point, kind of.
Yeah. Joyner does that.
Yeah. Joyner. I don't know. I feel like today it's not as appreciated because it's so like now like Billboard is counting YouTube streams, so really where can you put it where it's, it's really, you know what I mean? Where you're not going to get in trouble and It's just a harmless freestyle or whatever. You're rapping on dude's beat for a song he's currently promoting, So yeah, it's the world we live in. Back in No Ceiling in 2008 when No Ceilings dropped, there was no Spotify, right? It was still the CD game. Drake just came out. So everyone was still buying CDs and shit. And so dropping a mixtape on the internet was still like, oh, that's free music. It's, that was still like, oh, I can go there. That's not the case anymore. Everyone's streaming everywhere. If you drop something free on the internet, that's like, why would I go out of my way to stream it there when I have all these premium subscriptions I stream for?
For sure.
So yeah, times are changing, but I did appreciate that tape. I guess we didn't even have that here to talk about, but yeah, man, that's a classic mixtape. That's definitely one of the projects I remember. Like I remember when that came out. I remember like vividly listening to like all those tracks. So it's dope that that's out on streaming, man. I think Lil Wayne is trying to like have a major comeback. Like for a while there, he was tied up in some record label bullshit, with Birdman and whatnot. So he couldn't release music. And then he finally released the Carter 5 and it was literally the same thing. People were like, yo, this music sounds like you've had it for 5 years and you're just releasing it now. Like,
right.
So we've had that issue with him where, so I feel like the last couple projects he put out, even Funeral, was kind of like old songs that he couldn't put out and now he's able to put out. So now I've seen he announced that he's going to put out a Carter 6 and a No Ceilings 3.
I'm done.
So he's just really trying to like revamp, like all the milestones in his career. So yeah, like if he does it and he fucking knocks it out the park, I'm here for it.
If he's literally just rapping like crazy, like he's been doing for his whole career, like I'm here for it. Like I'm just trying to hear the punchlines, like. But
we get that message.
Yes, we upgraded, baby.
What happened?
What just happened? I think what happened the last time, dude. It just said we upgraded.
Whatever, man. I'll take it. I don't know what this
I told you, man. It's a fucking bluff, bro. They're just trying to make us pay for the thing, but they never like. It's just I'm like, nah, it's a bluff. Like, that's exactly what it is. It's like, all right, because we could have just been like, all right, should we just pay for fucking the full one now before we get started? Well, we didn't have to.
Good.
There you go.
But yeah, just a note to the listeners: don't pay for full Zoom.
Yeah, it's a scam. So next topic we have here is Joe Budden is leaving Spotify. So essentially Joe Budden is like a notorious for, I don't know if you're familiar with his catalog, Estedon, but he's kind of been an influencer in a lot of new waves. So like when Joe came out as a rapper, he was super vulnerable, but at the time that was not the norm. And so he didn't really get to reap the benefits of doing that type of stuff. And then now you see obviously like all these like every rapper is like super vulnerable and like, you're just going to be honest, right?
I don't even know if vulnerable is the word, man. I think fragile is the word to describe rap.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The like that kind of wave of just like opening yourself up on a track. He may have went too far when he talks about like his exes with their names and like calls them out. Like Yeah, but his catalog is actually really amazing. But he has that as well, and he even was one of the first people to get on the internet, and labels were telling him to not do that. But he was like one of the first people vlogging, like before any of these people were like doing that, you know, like anyone in the industry. So he's always been early on stuff. But when you're the first to do something, a lot of times you don't get to reap. What was the bar he said in that article we read? Show it was super fire. You like plants, but you don't get to reap the
fruits of the labor kind of thing.
Yes.
Everybody's not looking to feed the soil. Some are just looking to take the fruit.
Yeah. So he signed to Spotify. What was it, like a year or two ago? Something like that. And it was a huge deal at the time. It wasn't even a year ago. It felt like it was like 8 months ago or something like that. But so he's leaving because, you know, you see Joe Rogan get $100 million. You're probably going to look at your contract and be like, I can't even take off Christmas. Like, what is this? So like, that's kind of the issue. And so it kind of gets to a deeper topic of like signing to anything now, because I was under the impression that you signed to Spotify or something like that's not going to be like a record deal. They're not going to try and screw you over and take your money. They're trying to help you.
Psych.
I am naive. So, you know, unfortunately, Joe has to be the one to be like, don't do it. But obviously, if you're Joe Rogan and you get $100 million, you know, just take it. It's fine. Just that's a lot of money.
Obviously, we don't see what's written on the contract, man. Like, because that $100 million might be like what we don't know what that term is for. If it's $100 million for right now, that's a great contract. But if it's $100 million for like 10 years, and I mean, that's still great, but you know, it's less money. So you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like depending on the contract, depending on what's in there, like a lot of these guys are just getting fucked as well. Like, I think, I don't know if it's happened yet, right? September's about to come. So Joe Rogan's stuff is still on YouTube and stuff, but come September, like whenever his date is, it's not going to be available anywhere else but Spotify, like exclusively.
Wow. You
know, so that's fucking part of the 100 million, you know? So again, all we see is we just see these figures. We don't see what's in the paper. But I don't think so. The issue with Joe is I don't think he had that issue because Joe Rogan's podcast is available on Apple Music, right?
No, just Spotify.
Oh, so he has anyways. So yeah, he has that exclusivity with Spotify, I guess. So that's probably why they gave him a bag. But it just seems like he's saying like like in the article we read, he's like, we want bonuses because our show is doing like 900% better than projected, like literally 900%.
Oh, I see.
And they're like, yo, no. And they're like, all right, we'll get you Rolexes. And then they picked Rolexes and like, nah, these Rolexes too expensive. That's literally
crazy. That was their bonus. That's crazy.
And they're like, all right, buy some prizes for our fans or something. And they're like, nah, we're not doing that.
That's crazy.
They just can't do anything.
Couple months down the road, we signed Joe Rogan for 100 mil. Like,
that's so insulting.
We can do that though.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, it's clear like Spotify's kind of become a label, you know. They're now just in the game of like, oh, who's the hottest artist right now? Who's going to make us the bag? All right, we'll sign you for whatever you want, you know. And then whoever they signed a couple months ago that they already got on a contract, you know, they're still outperforming or whatever. They don't have to fucking pander to them because, you know, you're fucking signed to us, you know. So in the article we read, it was saying like, oh, he said, oh, I don't know where the podcast is going to be by September, but it's not going to be Spotify. But I don't know, man. People be talking like this all the time, but if he signed a contract, man, he's there till the contract is up. You know, it's not a.
Well, and I don't know what I'm sure he's got a low expense operation, so I don't think they, you know what I mean. Like realistically, he's recording out of a studio. I'm sure he's got to run the studio and everything, but it's not like it'd be like for a record deal, for example, where they recoup the cost of your expenses, right, of recording and things like that. I don't think he really has to worry too much about that. I don't know.
I don't think that's the case. I feel like for what he's doing, what he's saying right now is he wants to leave Spotify, right? And we've seen he has some valid reasons for wanting to leave, but I just don't think it's going to be that easy. You know, we saw this talked about this a couple of months ago in Soy when the Migos, released a public statement, saying that, they're suing Quality Control, their record label from the jump, saying that, they have them signed to a bad contract, this, and the third. But it's like, we see when this happens, you know what I mean? Like when the artist or the whoever signs the contract comes out and says like, this is not working. Like, what the fuck is going on? And even that was even such a weird. I don't know what's been progressing with that story, with Quality Control.
Oh, I'm not sure
because like from the jump, like those were like, we know like the label, they're like a family or whatever. But like you get into the game and you get deep into it, and it's like, there's contract issues or whatever. I don't know what it could be, but it's like, this is the thing. It's not the first time we're seeing this, right?
Yeah.
Where someone comes forward and says like, my contract is fucked up or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the unfortunate part about, like I was saying earlier, about being on the front lines of those deals and stuff, is because, it's a risk when you're like doing that at first. So you kind of have to see it from Spotify's perspective as well. Like Joe's one of the first people to do that, right? So, they might not be willing to like give up too much for something like that. But that's just how I'm thinking about it. But I mean, obviously you need to get what you're worth, and being 900% over your projection rates
you're just saying that number, like, come on, man.
Yeah, probably more than Rolex's. Like, there's probably a better deal, like something.
But the thing is, like, what I'm seeing is Joe is kind of like, come September or whatever. September's fucking next week, Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be on Spotify. And I just feel like, I don't know. I see this all the time. And it's like, it doesn't matter what business you're in. A contract is a contract. It's a legally binding document, So it's not like you can't, I know you might not be happy with the terms today, but you can't just up and like snap. And it's the same thing we saw with the Migos, right? The Migos are like, now we're done with the label. We want to go do this and that. And we saw like Q or P, the owner of the label, like said like, you guys can, slander the brand, whatever you guys want to do, even though we help build you, blah, blah, blah. But everything is negotiable. You guys aren't just going to get up and walk. You have to there's a fucking contract at the end of the day, So
Word.
I guess this is just caution about contracts,
Absolutely.
I think like Joe knew what he was getting into. This is not even a matter of, this seems to be a matter of they're not even upholding maybe what they're supposed to be upholding. Again, I don't know if bonuses were discussed. If he has a contract where the bonuses are supposed to, be gotten, like he has like, again, like if Joe Rogan signed for this 100 million, right? And like his podcast does exceedingly better than projected, is he expected to get bonuses?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Like, I know, for example, like employees of a company get bonuses, you know what I mean? But I don't know what the terms of their contract is.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
have ownership in it, right? Because I'm sure that they get paid off of their royalties and not based off of bonuses. But I don't know, right? That's what I'm thinking.
So yeah, we don't know the details of Joe's contract, but I guess we'll follow this because Joe's kind of like a pioneer with this, so the moves that he makes here, are definitely gonna set the tone for what happens next. Who knows, man? Yeah, carry on.
I was just gonna say, like, is it a distribution deal that they sign with Spotify, or is it like, how does that work, or is it like they take ownership in it, or how does that work?
It is. I think it's an exclusivity deal, right? So just like you said, it's not on Apple Music or anywhere else. So what Spotify is gaining from it is that this is not available anywhere else. So anyone who is a fan of this has to come to Spotify to listen to it.
Got it.
And the money they're making is probably some kind of split on the profit, right? Because like everyone's coming here. So that's probably what it is. It's a distribution deal.
It worked for me. I'm going to be honest with you. That's why I changed to Spotify. I was like, I want to hear, like, I feel like Spotify has more exclusivity stuff. And it's like it's like going for like PS4 and Xbox One. It's like, what's going to offer me more that's exclusive to that system?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I also got 3 months free. So I was like, I'm going to take that deal.
Thank you for making this easy for me. But yeah, they do that. But word. All right. So yeah, we'll definitely follow this, moving forward. I'm actually curious to know what happens with this contract. But yeah, on to national. I guess this isn't national news, but world news now. So Jacob Blake, in this past week, got shot in an altercation with the police. He ended up walking away from the police, and trying to get back into his car. They shot him 7 times, which left him paralyzed, and actually died. Thank God. They left him paralyzed, and then I saw this past week while he was in the hospital, literally paralyzed from the waist down. He was still cuffed to the bed because he's still apprehended.
Wow.
Apparently, so yeah, that's this. I don't know, man. When I saw that, I was like, are these guys just oblivious? They did not know what's going on in the world. I don't know. So have you guys seen? I guess you talked about this as well. So how do you feel about this story, man?
Yo, for real, honestly, I want to reiterate what LeBron James said. I think I read this from a quote that LeBron James said. And he's like, if you're telling me that there was no other way that this man could have been apprehended, that this person could have been taken alive in that altercation, then you're just straight up lying to me, but not only me, to every black person in America. Not only just black people, but everybody in the world. You know what I mean? Because it's ridiculous that, whatever the situation was, he's trying to break up a fight from what I heard. I don't know all the details. But he said, apparently I don't know if you guys know the details, but they said he was going to break up a fight, and then things escalated, and then he went back to his car where his kids were. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's kids there. He's literally going into his car. He has his back turned to you. You can't just grab this man, or like, you know what I mean? There's just so many other ways to go about it instead of like in a split second making that decision to say, I'm going to take this person's life because they're not absolutely listening to everything that I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous and it's unjustified, and we see it time and time again. And it's like, it's time for change. And I don't think people are playing anymore. Like, I think people are now like, this needs to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We seen it. We seen that his 3 kids were in the car, man. When he got shot 7 times. Again, I haven't seen the video. I know they said there's video footage, but I just, again, his back was turned. He was trying to get inside his car. I don't understand. I can't make sense of this. So safe to say the protesting is not about to stop anytime soon. I saw the NBA, they were about to do game 5 and then they canceled, or playoffs. They canceled it, but then like just a couple of days again, they said they're going to start up. So, they didn't hold long on that. I think they literally canceled. They said, all right, they're boycotting all of the NBA. And then like 3 days later, they're like, all right, we're going to finish playing playoffs. I don't know. I know they're doing what they can as far as the NBA. Like, they've painted on the court. The jerseys now have Black Lives Matter on the back and whatnot. I don't think that them stopping all the time is, unless they're going to stop until something is done, but them stopping every time, I don't think it's effective. As far as this whole thing, man, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how, I don't know, like, well, how can we move forward from this? What is going to be, because I'm almost certain these fucking police officers haven't been charged or anything. What is a lesson we're going to learn from this so that we can implement and make change moving forward? I just, because now it's like, fuck, it's happening every month now, damn near.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that it's like, you would think because of like everything happening that it would like, you wouldn't see it as often. Or it seems like maybe it's because there's cameras that people can film anything at any time, that now things are just more visible. But it's fucking, it's so weird, I hear a lot of conflicting information, and sometimes it's hard to decipher what's true and what's not, but I do listen to like a lot of people speak on it, and so there's always truth in between. But for this circumstance, I've heard conflicting information about why the police were called, and I'm not really sure what really is the case. I did watch the video, and it's I mean, it seems like resorting to killing someone, it really, in like most circumstances, is the wrong thing to do. And I think that's a broader point as well of like what like LeBron said, like there has to be solutions to this. There is solutions to this problem, and it's like obvious, easy fixes of just like, okay, instead of it'd be like be Batman. Don't be Ben Affleck's Batman. Be Christian Bale's Batman. You know, like you're supposed to protect and serve. You know, like even if he was going in there, to grab like a weapon or something, it's still there's still a point where you're able to, like, you're a freaking cop. Like your whole job is to be able to detain someone. Like
Exactly.
it should not be an issue in any circumstance, you know, even if the person's huge, you need to have a way to deal with that situation. And I think I don't even know why it's an issue. At this point, like, I don't know how people are justifying being shot 7 times in the back, no matter who it is, you know, no one deserves that. And you're seeing it more from Black communities, and it's just sad. It's just fucking, it's just stupid, man. And it's puzzling, to be honest.
It's systematic racism, man, because there were 3 police officers there, right? You know, there were 3 minds there. And, you know, one common sense person knows that what was done was wrong, right? So I think it was in the moment, right? And it's just these guys are trained, you know, where it's like, again, like, all right, this is just how, like, all right, this Black guy is acting up. We just got to shoot him. But again, it's scary because, like, this is not even you know, I feel like the only thing he could have done was lie down flat on the ground, you know, because if he approached them, they would probably have shot him more. And it seemed like trying to get into his car got him shot, you know, so.
It's like, what can you do in that situation?
Yeah, like,
not get shot.
He was going to get shot, you know, so. Yeah, I don't know anymore, man. Like, I think they need to start putting strong systems in place where they either weeding out these fucking cops that are this way, or, you know, the training system, whatever it is, because it is the system, right? Like, these guys are, they're scared, you know, when they're dealing with someone of color, they're like, all right, this is the last resort, you know what I mean? And that should not be the case. And there should be penalties, right? There should be severe penalties for this, because, like, again, I'm not following this closely, but I know for a fact that none of these officers are arrested. You know, they're probably at home having dinner. You know, in all the previous cases, you know, where someone like actually dies, like this guy got paralyzed, where someone actually dies from these shootings, they usually have to do like a suspension. That's literally what it is, like a couple of days suspension, you know, with the police officer, and they come back, they have their job, they have their badge, they're back on the force like next month.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what?
Well, that's because like there's like unions in police work, so it's really hard to convict someone who's like a part of that system, and it is a system of like protecting your own. It's a deep conversation, because it's not. In my opinion, I don't think it's the majority of police officers that are like that. I do think it's. I would like, maybe that's just me being optimistic, but I'd like to think that it's the very small minority that is just doesn't do their job correctly. And you're right, there needs to be a system in place where it's like sorry, I just got a text from this chick I'm sorry. There needs to be a system in place that like does that. Anyways, yeah, I lost my train of thought.
No, it's all good.
We're
And
on
I
the
think
same page.
for sure. And I mean, you point out the situation about, like, you think that it's, you know, a very small minority of cops that are doing this. And I think the greater issue is, although it may be a small minority of cops, the system is in place to protect these cops that are doing this. You know what I mean? And there's no repercussions that are coming with them shooting unarmed Black people, and just anybody unarmed. You know what I mean? Especially unarmed Black people. And so that's what I think. And And it really stems from just years and years and years of systemic racism, you know what I mean? So, because it's not even just the police, but it's housing, it's loans, it's economic. It's such a like literally the fabric of that country is built on the oppression of Black people and Indigenous people. You know what I mean? And so it's in order for, I think, the real issues to be solved, it needs to be like a total restructure of like America. That's what I was telling me and my Nigerian homies that I work with. He's like, bro, there needs to be the same way a business restructures. Like, that's what America is. You know what I mean? There needs to be a restructure of America. You know what I mean? Like restructure how that whole thing is. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that they're doing that are dope, but there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed. You know,
that's true. So many freaking crooked politicians. I'm like, God, is every single politician just like corrupt? Like, it's crazy, man. I think that's correct, though.
Word. But it's unfortunate that we're hearing this again. We're praying for, sending our hopes and prayers for Jacob Blake's family. We're happy he's alive, man, because we've seen these incidents happen, and the guy dies. It's unfortunate. They said he's going to be paralyzed from the waist down moving forward.
Fucking sucks.
But yeah, I hope this is the last one. I hope we can. This sparks the change, because I know people are angry, and more is being done. Again, this is going to spark another wave, but I hope it doesn't take another Black person dying or getting injured.
Well, and this is something
for us to start doing shit.
Exactly. You bring up that point, because it was 10 of 10 posted a video. Shout out to 10 of 10 in Calgary and Benny J.
Word.
But there was a quote from this woman. She says, she was very adamant. She's like, "You're lucky that Black people are fighting for equality and not for revenge." You know what I mean? Because like if this continues, it's like I don't know if you guys heard "To Pimp a Butterfly," the last bit of "To Pimp a Butterfly" on Kendrick's album with Tupac. This quote, and he's saying like, "Bro, people are gonna tear the streets up if this continues to happen," and we're seeing it happen. You know what I mean? Like if there's no change, people are going to do something. So it's like either we can force people's hand, or we can really come to terms and like reconciliate with what's happened. You know what I mean?
Word. It's a good point, man. Yeah. So yeah, on to our next topic here. So I'm gonna let you take this one.
What was it? The surviving an apocalypse? Hold on, let me get the actual thing. So obviously the last topic was pretty heavy, so I wanted to throw some fun. Hold on. Okay, basically, if you survived, say we're in an apocalypse, boys, all right? Shit's fucked up. The nukes, they went off. Lots of people are dead, right? You're like, damn, my cat, my dog, they're gone. Shit sucks. But you survived, and you're like, well, you get up, and then, there's still some people left. But unfortunately, you still have to work because, there's still people, and we got to find a way to trade goods. Unless you're like I don't know. But the question essentially is like, say there is an apocalypse and things are destroyed. It's like, imagine if you guys ever played Fallout, imagine Fallout 3, Fallout 4, that type of destruction where it's just like everything's burned down, but there's still civilization walking around, right? So what job do you think that you would have in the aftermath of the apocalypse?
Yeah, I think something that's I feel like I'm very tapped into is like leading people, being a leader, an inspiration to people, learning, because that's really what we do as artists. I think is to inspire people, whether that's inspire people to make change, or to inspire people to reach out to a friend or a loved one, or to reach for your goals, or you know what I mean. like accomplish what you want to do in life. It's inspiring people. And so I think like just being somebody who's like a leader, you know what I mean, and inspiring people, whatever that position would be, if that's myself as an artist, you know what I mean, or if that's myself as like just somebody who's like the head of some sort of, you know, just like you can say organization or just a movement, or you know what I mean, just something in that kind of realm.
I think, man, like when I think about what you're talking about, Soy, I just think of like the only jobs are like, you know, hunters and food gatherers, and like, you know, like
Hunter was kind of fire. I'm not gonna
like
lie.
cook. That's it. You just the people who like there's gonna be the people who hunt, like go get meat, and the food gatherers, which are probably women, people who go get like fruits or whatever, and then there's whoever's gonna cook it and like, you know, do stuff. That's all that's needed. And because in my mind, I think of like a post-apocalyptic world where there's no internet, there's no like connection. We don't have any kind of like hierarchy. There's no police to like set laws or anything. So, you know, like we really can't have anything too complex. You know, there's not going to be anyone with any like real jobs, you know. We've taken it back to like day one on Earth. Like,
yeah, I feel you. But even if you look at it, like I think people always like will look towards leaders to, you know, to lead them in the right direction. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
You know what I mean? That's what I think. Whether it's to lead people to, we need to get to across the fucking river. You know what I mean? And there's people that's like, bro, I'm done. I haven't ate in days. There's no food in the water. There's got to be somebody to rally the troops to be like, hold up. If we all come together, we can actually make something happen. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that'd be something that I'd be dope to, you know, to do. Be like the motherfucker who's just inspiring everybody to, let's keep surviving. You know what I'm saying?
Word. I'd probably do some crazy shit because obviously, like, everything I believed, there was the apocalypse. Like, I can't go to heaven. It's over. So I'm going to just do some horrible things, like open a brothel. You know, like, I was thinking, like, selling, like, weapons or something, like, be like a blacksmith with, like, I don't know, just some, like, ill shit. A hunter would be cool. I don't know. People mutated in this universe. I must say,
I don't know. Like, I don't
big.
know. I'm not like, I'm just like, maybe I'm not seeing the picture of the world you're describing.
Think of like rats, and they're like just like too big.
But I'm like, so where will your brothel go? Like, I'm just like, this is the point I'm making. Like, we don't have, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have time for brothels. Like, you know, like the whole, like every building in the downtown is like damaged. You know, there's nothing that's more than like 10 feet high anymore.
We're going to go to the broken Calgary Tower. It's the brothel now. The Calgary brothel. We're like, welcome to my brothel. Choose as you wish. I get a different accent for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah,
I don't know.
I'd be a savage, I think.
I think realistically, though, it would just be people who are getting food, and people who are like cooking food, you know, like the hunters and the gatherers. And then there will be the people who don't want to be part of that society and have their own like gang, because that's going to be a thing. If there's no law, there will be gangs, you know. And
absolutely,
they just come every week to rob those guys.
Yeah. There's still Bloods.
I think I would be with those guys.
Yeah, for real.
I think I'd be with the gangs for sure. Like that's
damn.
That would be my job. I would be the leader of the gang.
There you go.
So I would just be trying to like hunt, gather food, and live in his brothel at night. And I'm just coming through and stealing his women.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Where are my women? Damn, Shosho has taken my women again. This is the third week. I must gather more.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I literally would steal everything though. Like if we're living in a post-apocalyptic world where none of us even have doors, you know, like
can you please knock on a wood?
People would just cook and like they'll set dinner, and I'll just fucking jump off like to the top of the roof, come jack the food.
What are you, fucking Batman in this bitch? You just steal food. Like, nothing is yours. Nothing is anyone's at this point. You're right.
Yeah. That's great.
Yo, but a brothel would be a great idea though. Like I think that was was
People are
legit.
gonna need something, right?
I think I would be in that business with you, to be honest.
All the Instagram models are like, we still need to work, and this is our only talent.
Oh my god. Yo, Soy, you better start recruiting now, man.
Yeah.
Yo, but it's apocalypse brothel, I'm telling you.
I'll put it on my Instagram page, like just in case, like sign up. So
There
like
you
if
go.
this shit hits, like I got y'all.
It's insurance. Yeah, exactly. It's insurance. That's
funny.
pretty solid, bro. I mean,
I am a piece of garbage, but we know this.
yeah.
But word. All right. On to our next bit. The local.
Are we not talking about that lady? The OnlyFans? Oh no, we don't have to do that.
I mean, I guess we can, but we didn't figure out if it was real or not. Like I couldn't find an actual link, but that like post whatever.
Oh, that then.
But I don't know. We can bring it up. Fuck it. We already brought it up. So yeah. I saw a meme. I want to say. I did find it online and I sent it to everyone. And basically, it says that a Catholic school teacher recently got fired by the headmaster after the headmaster like found her OnlyFans account. And in the picture or the meme, like it has like, the teacher looking all innocent on one side and then, a photo from her OnlyFans account. So yeah, how do we feel about this? Do we feel like, because one thing I saw in the comments was like, yo, how did headmaster find that OnlyFans account though?
There you go.
Like, think about that.
So, should these shorties be getting shamed for having OnlyFans, or is that personal business? What you do at home, with your IG is your business. When you're at school, you just you just here to bless these young minds.
With that OnlyFans.
Exactly. Bless them in another way after. That's the homework.
I think that's the issue. Yeah, that's your homework. All right, everyone, please subscribe to my OnlyFans account.
That's crazy.
I'm sure if she was like a professional and like she knows how tech savvy kids are today, like she does. Yeah. She's not using her real name on OnlyFans.
I would hope not. That'd be gross.
That would be weird.
That'd be the weirdest issue is like kids can just access this. It's like, yo, Miss Gretchen got an OnlyFans. Like, what are we doing right now?
Yo, that's crazy. That changes the dynamic heavy.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
She's like, do your homework. I'm like, I did. Show the photo. I just paid you.
I don't know. I feel like if this is real, it's wrong. Because I don't know, it's kind of like whatever she does in her spare time, but I don't know, man. We know for a fact, like you can't access someone's OnlyFans unless you pay, like unless you have you have to pay at least.
Oh wow!
Idiot, right? So
the headmaster.
I don't know if man's just saw the link and I was like, oh, OnlyFans? Nah, you gone out of this Catholic vicinity. Nah, man was like, he was probably creeping on Insta, saw that link, and was like, I'll pay $20 to see some more. And then I was like, what is this unholiness I'm seeing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
After scrolling to the bottom, like making sure like
this is her for sure. Man, headmaster is a stupid name for a fucking principal. You're not a fucking headmaster. You're literally just in charge of a school. Shut up.
That's funny.
Fuck.
That's funny. No, I think the issue is because she's representing the organization, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, whatever she does after school or in school, she's representing the Calgary, or I don't know if it's Calgary. Was this Calgary? No, it wasn't Calgary.
No. But it would be like a school district. Same
Exactly. So they probably have strict rules, and I'm sure she should know that when she signed up and everything. But hey, bro, if it wasn't an issue, I'd be like if it wasn't in the terms and considering all that, I'd be like, do what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe she was taking the pictures in the classroom like after hours.
Yo,
that's fucked.
That would be fucked.
That is, bro. Oh my god.
All right.
I'm just.
All right. All right, but I think we all know it's kind of the same thing. I feel like it's sad to say, but this is the same kind of like, what is it? Discretion, you would use if you were like a stripper and you worked at a Catholic school. It's like you're allowed to, like, there's nothing in your school manual that says you can't, but it's kind of, you got to keep those both lives separate. That's all
Exactly.
it is.
It's actually the word of God.
There you go. God's creation right there.
You may
Behold.
strip. I remember in high school, I had this one teacher that I had a big crush on. She was my biology teacher, and I used to get tutored by her after school. I didn't learn shit. I was just there because, yeah. But that was random as fuck. Anyways.
Word. On to the local.
Cool. So obviously we have a guest. So Estedon, I just want to ask you some questions about kind of your music. Do you have an album out, first of all? Because I was going through your Instagram and I heard the 2 songs that were like promoted on your Instagram. So I was just wondering, like, do you have like an album in like Spotify or anything like that?
Okay, so I have I put out an EP at the top of 2017, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on SoundCloud and YouTube only. And I took that down since. The reason being was just like, listening back to your old shit, you're never always happy with it. So I was like, damn, like, I know I can put out so much better music, but it was also a rebranding thing as well, right? Because now I'm going as Estedon, and those songs were released as sound. So I was like, okay, well, make sure that all the music that's out there, most of it at least, is under the same name, so it's not confusing for people. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
Makes sense.
Do you have a project coming out anytime soon?
Yeah, so that's honestly kind of what we're working on right now. So I've just been locking in with producers and different people in different studios and just making singles at this point. I know that's kind of how the game's gone. I feel like when it's time for an EP or an album or whatever it is, it's got to be a statement. You know what I mean? The only time I'm really gonna make an album, especially in this day and age, I feel like is if you're making a statement. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like at this point, I'm gonna just focus heavily on singles, possibly an EP coming up, and then as soon as I feel like I've built up a fan base, then I'm gonna really hit them with an album. You know what I'm saying?
Word, man. That's cool.
Word. How do you feel about Calgary's hip hop scene? How do you feel about it?
So here's the thing. It's one of those scenes I feel like if you're tapped in, you realize how much talent there is. You know what I'm saying? And Polo, are you the one that's behind the YYC Hip Hop Daily?
Yeah, man.
Bro, so I know how much heat is coming out on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? Nov Kane just dropped a dope album. Lemmy just dropped a dope single. Lyrics got dope music. There's so many dope artists. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like you have to be tapped in to really know the energy. It's not one of those scenes that's really going to slap you in the face if you're just like a regular person. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I make the effort to really stay tapped in, because I just reap the benefits from being tapped in. You know what I'm saying?
How do you feel about someone blowing up out of the scene anytime soon?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely open up the space for the rest of us to really make a name for ourselves. We've been saying that for a minute now. You know what I'm saying? Like if one of us blows up, then it paves the path for, all these other artists. I think it's going to take some time. We've seen success with Cartel Madras. There's been heavy success with Easy Mac. Even Transit 22 had some pretty good success. So there's a lot of artists that are coming out that are starting to, break that stigma and break that kind of barrier of Calgary hip hop. It's still going to take some time before this scene, this city, I think, is really going to have a hub and be known as a hub for music. You know what I'm saying? If ever, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Definitely wanted to ask, what was the reason that you started not even just hip hop, but music in general? And what's your ultimate vision for your music?
Yo, that's crazy. So the reason I even got into it in the first place is because, like, since I was young, I remember listening to hip hop music. You know what I mean? And it was always like the thing is, I grew up in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Word.
and so I'd say like I grew up here and there. I spent like 8 to 10 years in North Carolina, so like it was a significant amount of my time. And being in the dirty South, especially in the mid 2000s, that's where shit was popping. All the music that was coming out on the radio was from the South. It was all that ringtone era music. So we got into it like as popular culture. This is what we saw on TV. This is what we saw as our friends. We were at school, and I was surrounded by a majority of white kids, to be honest. But we're still like we're writing raps. You know what I mean? We're putting fucking aluminum like tinfoil in our mouths to get grills. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. So it was culture that we grew up with. You know what I mean? Just like writing my first song for a school project, writing to Jay-Z's Hard Knock Life. Like it was always ingrained in what we were doing. And so as I got older and I realized that I wasn't going to become a ball player, I was super heavy in the ball. And I realized I wasn't going to become a ball player. I was like, damn, well, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? And hip hop was that guiding light for me to be like, yo, this is something that I can have a voice in and really like identify with. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big thing. It was the culture aspect and the music that we just really gravitated towards that made me say, okay, I can take this seriously. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And the second part of your question is like my ultimate vision for my music is, I mean, like I literally right in front of me, I have like a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, and 26 year goal. You know what I mean? And I read it to myself every night before I go to bed. I remind myself. So in 1 year, and I know I'm kind of give you all some crazy keys, but in 1 year, I'm trying to build a dedicated fan base. Yeah, I know that might take longer than 1 year. That could be 3 years, 5 years. People spend their entire lives doing that. But I want to definitely build a fan base in 1 year. In 3 years, make enough income as an artist to earn a living. In 5 years, to expand to a major city and expand my career. In 10 years is financial independence. And then 26 years is be considered one of the greatest hip hop artists of all time. And that's the ultimate vision. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I got into this in the first place. If I'm not trying to compete with the best of the best, if I'm not trying to be the best, I don't know why I'm doing it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So that's really where I'm at with it. Like, I'm really trying to be up there and compete with the best of the best. So that's where I'm at with it.
Absolutely, man.
That's dope, man. Yeah.
There's a couple more questions because I'm actually really interested because I spent some time in North Carolina, but
really?
yeah,
Where in
dude.
North Carolina?
Actually, it was Hope Mills, but I definitely was in Charlotte a lot. My brother lives
Crazy.
there. Yeah, super
Yo.
beautiful there, actually.
Oh, it's amazing down there.
Yeah, I love
we
the
were
South.
in Cornelius, yeah.
But I was gonna ask you, who was like the rapper or MC or artist that like, or what was the album that really like made you be like, okay, like hip hop this is what I want to do. Like this is like my life, you know? What was that album for you or artist?
Yeah, I'm gonna say not even an album. I have an album and an artist. And they kind of happened at the same time. It was around 2014, 2015. The artist that made me say I'm gonna take this seriously was KRS-One, the teacher. I don't know, do you guys know who KRS-One is?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dope. So I wasn't even like an album, although I'm super heavy into his discography. It was actually one of his lectures that he was doing at one of the colleges. And he said, take hip hop seriously. Like, pick up one of the elements of hip hop and take it seriously. Whether that's DJing, breaking, MCing, beatboxing, or whatever it is, you know, which is now evolved into producing, rapping, etc. He's like, take these elements seriously and make a career for yourself, because you can really make a living doing this if you master the craft. You know what I mean? So that was the person for me that made me say, okay, I'm going to take this seriously. I watched that lecture and I told myself I'm going to become a rapper that day. You know what I'm saying? I went and I just kept writing, and I told my brother, I'm like, yo, I'm going to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So, and the album that made me take hip hop super seriously to be like, this is what I really want to do is To Pimp a Butterfly. Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly. I heard that and it literally blew my mind away. You know what I mean? I said, yo, if I make an album, this is the standard that I have to live up to, is this album. You know what I'm saying? And that made me want to actually do music and grab beats from online and put something together. So yeah, that's KRS-One and Kendrick Lamar's Simple Butterfly. Those are probably the biggest pushes for me to say I'm going to take this seriously.
Damn. Yeah, dude, that's very hip hop. KRS-One is definitely a legend. It's actually very cool that the lecture is actually what got you into it. That's very interesting.
Absolutely.
I didn't expect that. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Show, you got any questions? Any more?
Not really, man. Like it's a lot of insight into what you're doing. What about you and Rubik? So are you guys collaborating on any more music, or was it for the single?
Yo, so we do have music in the works right now. I just locked in with Zach Taylor, Underdog Empire, the Underdog House, the Dog Pound, up in the Northeast. They're super dope. I've recorded my verse up there, and we just need to get Rubik's locked in. We got a single potentially coming out very soon. And other than that, you know what I mean? I just take it as it comes, you know what I mean? I'm just locking in with different producers, different artists, and seeing who I can vibe with, and just, you know, really locking in on music, you know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Word, man.
Dope, man.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week, but definitely one of the things that's going to push the scene forward is, you know, all of us just like rooting for each other. So you're a cool guy, man, and I do hope the best success for you, and I believe you'll get to those goals as that timeline you said. That sounds like that's very doable. So you're a smart guy, so I'm sure things will work out very good for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I mean, even if it doesn't happen in those timelines, you always got to be willing to be flexible and move with the timeline. You know what I mean? It could happen. Let's say my first year, it takes me way longer to build the fan base. But as we know, things happen. Let's say, okay, those first 5 years are super tough. But then after that, everything just snowballs and it happens quick, right? So, you know what I mean? It's a marathon, like Nipsey says, is someone I look up to. I'm not in a rush. If things take longer than I expected, then it's just a part of the game plan, you know what I mean? But at this point, I'm very comfortable in saying that this is what I want to do with my life.
That's dope, man.
Absolutely.
That's dope. So, all right, let's get on to the last segment here. Artist motivation. So I have a clip here I'm going to play. Let me just...
Yo, and if you haven't checked it out, make sure you check out my single with Rubik's, Make Change. We dropped the music video. You can check it out on my Instagram at ESTEDON and drop it. Yeah.
Word, man.
Word.
I listened to that song too. It was fire.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It was super fun making that song.
I was distressed though, bro. I was literally looking for like an album or something. I was like, where is it? I felt bad, but I'm glad to know I wasn't crazy.
Yo, no, for real. Trust me, I'll definitely have a project dropping soon. Like,
Okay, cool.
I wouldn't say super soon, but definitely like an EP has to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, word.
At the very minimum. You know what I mean?
Word. So yeah, I'm gonna play a clip from the Quality Control Revolt Summit. So at the Revolt Summit in 2019, Quality Control founders, P and Coach were there. So they're the founders of Quality Control. That's the label for Migos, Lil Yachty, Lil Baby. They also manage Cardi B, or they were. I don't know what the current condition is. They definitely still got Lil Baby. So yeah, we'll see how the Migos thing plays out. But yeah.
We had one George Foreman grill in there and equipment. You know what I mean? And they didn't leave and created some of the most magical music I think that we done put out to date on them boys.
Got you. So when we talk about the acronym QC and quality control, what is quality control to you, Coach?
Is that
K?
2 Chainz?
What you mean by quality control?
He's the one interviewing them.
Crazy.
The name came from it's like with any like infrastructure or business you have, the quality control department is like the last part before it's given. I would say like if you're making a car, building a car, right? And before it goes into production or goes out on the street where a consumer can buy it, the quality control department must go through it.
Okay.
So with that being said, I feel like with us, it stands for being the best and making sure everything is complete, everything is there before we give it to the people.
The customer receives it.
Exactly.
So another question for you, Coach K, would be when you were managing artists, because I know a few of the artists that you manage, you know, you could tell the people how that prepared you for where you are today, like those ups and downs, those, you know, those road trips,
really well,
those, you know, learning how to move, who to move with.
I mean, I think being a manager taught me a lot. It's because being a manager for artists, you have to go out there and create work for your artists. You know what I mean? Like, and for any young manager out here, you really have to believe and have passion in you so strong that really your life don't even exist no more. You know what I'm saying? You have to put all your energy and everything that you do into that artist to get them to pop. With that being said, coming up, shit, what y'all see now was it's been 22 years of hard work, man. Like when I first started, I was passing out flyers, putting up posters. Shit, we was doing shows on dirt roads, like in country towns that nobody ever heard of.
Yeah.
But my job and duty was to make sure that that artist got broke and that brand got seen, and I wouldn't stop until it was done.
I got you. P, what's up?
So yeah, basically the question he asked is, you know, how was being a manager? Because he was a manager. I think this dude actually managed like Gucci Mane and a couple artists before they started this label. So how was being a manager helpful, you know, experience in, you know, before starting quality control? And he just said, you know, one of the key qualities of being a manager is like you have to believe passionately and wholeheartedly in this vision. You know, it's not about you anymore. It's now about this vision, you know. And I guess this is valuable for artists. I mean, we are our own managers at the end of the day, but this is valuable for artists because this is that same mindset, right? That these are winners. You know, these guys, they took the Migos to the top, and it's no doubt that's that mindset that took them to the top. It was like, yo, you're from the manager's perspective, if the artist isn't making money, it's your fault, you know? And he seemed like he just had that conviction, you know. He's like, I've taken it upon myself where it's like, if this artist isn't popping, if this artist hasn't popped, then I'm not doing everything I can be doing, right? And I think I found that very like, this is like a whole 1 hour talk, and I found that very like useful because it's like, you know, it's that conviction that we as the artists have to have as well in the vision and in the passion, you know. It's like, yo, dude said it took 22 years, you know, of doing to get to the point that they were at, you know. So it's just like you said, man, that's what I like about your plan. You know, you're like, it doesn't, you know, yeah, you got like 1 year or 5 year plans, but you're willing to adjust it because at the end of the day, it's that conviction that you have to see it through to however long it takes to get it done.
Absolutely.
So yeah, these guys definitely drop a lot of gems. This is Coach K is the one that's talking. P is a really quiet dude. But they're both like, you know, masterminds behind all the artists under that label. So definitely worth checking out those guys.
Word.
Yeah. And so you want to take us away with that conclusion?
Yeah, man. So this has been Just Kicking It, episode 12. Thank you, Estedon, for being here. That really is appreciated. Give us your Instagram and that new single.
Yeah, so my Instagram is at Estedon, Estedon. Make sure you also follow me on Spotify and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll have a mailing list set up pretty soon here. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you stay on the lookout for the mailing list. And the new single is called Make Change. Make Change featuring Rubik's. We got Player Beats off of YouTube who produced it. 33 Visuals edited the video, and Aladi, he shot the video. It was super dope. We shot it downtown. I had so much fun. We really got on our boss shit on that video. So make sure you check it out. It's on the link in my Instagram. And I appreciate you guys for even having me on this podcast in the first place. Y'all really know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think so at first, but as soon as I got in like the circle with you guys, I see you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, big ups to you guys. Big up to Polo and Soy. Respects, man. And you guys got to get me in the booth when you guys got to get me in the studio when you guys get, you know what I'm saying, back to unquarantine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Word. Yeah, man. Thank you again, man, for coming in. We've not had a lot of guests on. You're actually the second guest we've ever had on this.
Hey.
So yeah, thank you. The second guest and the first musician guest we've had on this, man. So we're very appreciative of that.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing your insight and experience, man. So yeah, with that being said, I go by Poliano_the_Don on Instagram. Give me a follow on there. What about you, Soy?
I'm at The Only True Soy. And check out my album on Spotify on the search for more. Tis Fire. We just shot the music video for one of the songs last night, and that shit went super well. Dude, we had an actor like crying and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I was like, before we started, I was like, dude, I'm going to need you to cry. And he's like, I'm like, can you do it? He's like, give me 10 minutes. I'm like, oh shit.
That's crazy. Yo, I got a question.
What
you
up?
guys, I know you I know Polo, you run a record label and you're an artist, and Soy, you're an artist yourself. How do you guys balance doing the podcast and being an artist? You know what I'm saying? How do you guys balance that? Because I'm seeing more artists are not doing the podcast thing. And I'm like, that's dope. You know what I mean? So how do you guys like balance that?
I mean, yeah, man. I think we just finally like hit our stride, man. I think like literally these last couple ones, man, because yeah, we had been skipping episodes for a while there. But yeah, you know, so I'm not gonna make it seem like, yo, it's been smooth sailing like this whole time. No, we feel like we just hit our stride. But like this episode 12, you know, so this is like, I think we've been doing this for like what? Plus the weeks we've missed, like almost 15 weeks.
Fucking crazy, man. Time flies.
And now I'm like, all right, now I feel like we have the hang of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely in the beginning, it was like, all right, fuck, I don't feel like doing it this week.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I call in like, yo, I'm sick. Like, but yeah, no, I don't think it's even like, it's only like, it's just something to add, you know, it's like, it's a brand, like things are changing. Like artists are not put in a box anymore. Like some of my favorite comedians all have podcasts. Some of my favorite artists have podcasts, and like shit, like a lot of legendary acts, like even LL Cool J has like a radio show. So just to have like a extra stuff to build the brand, I don't think is a bad thing, you know?
For sure. That makes sense. Absolutely.
You know, it's only like 2 hours out of your day besides like editing it and shit. But
what's the goal with your guys' podcast? What's the ultimate goal?
I mean, just create more awareness. That's all it really is. You know, I see the podcast as like an Instagram post, you know, it's like, you know, why do we post on our Instagrams? You know, just to, you know, get more fans or, you know, gain more exposure. So it's just another thing, right? Like a lot of these, like the podcast goes into like distribution places that like songs can't go into. Like we have the podcasts on like Pandora, Audible, which is like the podcast thing for Amazon. You know, so there's just different. So there's different. So, right. So you can think like Audible is like a marketplace where they might not have fans, you know, they might not have people who are actually listening to music or whatever on there. They just like to go there and listen to books, but they might find this podcast and be like, oh, let me check out these dudes. And, you know, just like that, you gain a fan. Again, that's an extreme scenario, but that's just how I see it. It's like, you know, it's just an additional thing you're doing, you know, it's kind of like when you're on a news service or like a job or whatever, and they ask, like when you're about to apply for a job and ask you like, where did you hear about this job? You know, because the company wants to know, like, you know, we have this fucking ad on Indeed, we have this on Google Ads, we have this on fucking everyone's website. So which one got you here, you know? And that's how I see it. Is like, we're doing multiple things, you know, and it's like someone tells me they're a fan tomorrow, I can assume it's not just because of the music, you know, we're blogging, we're fucking podcasting. because everything else is going on. So I think that's the name of the game, man. Moving forward is like just spreading your wings with content, because you know you will reach more people and more different kinds of people with different content. You know,
For sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. Word. I'm trying to quit my job, so that's why, you know, we gotta keep doing this.
There you go. By any means necessary, we gonna do it, right?
Fuck that. Anyways, this has been Just Kicking It. Thank you again, bro. I'll see you guys next week.
Blessing.